Welcome once again to that fun little show we have. You made that. Where is it? You made that? You made that? You made that? Take your pick. Who knows? How is everybody this week? Rebecca, how are you?
I'm just great. I'm so glad to be back. Bob and I were talking before you got here. It's been 2 weeks since our last recording. I have missed you guys.
And you have been quite the busy little teacher.
I really have been. So I've talked about this in a couple episodes coming up to the event that happened last weekend, but I was at Woodstock, Illinois at Bull Valley Hardwood teaching a 3-day beginner wood turning class. And getting into it, I had no idea what to expect. I knew that the class had already been created for someone else to teach. So before I was recruited to teach this class, Barry Todd, who is just a phenomenal wood turner and a great person, he was supposed to be teaching it. And COVID happened, and then he had a shoulder surgery scheduled, I think. And so he was out of commission and he wouldn't have been able to teach the class. So when the guy that runs the place, Dan, asked Barry who he would recommend, like, first name out of his mouth was RebeccaDeGroot. So I was like, yes. So he's like, I put your name into this thing. I'm not entirely sure if you're interested, but give this guy a call just in case. So I called him up. We had a great conversation. I got to learn a lot about all of the demonstrators that he's had before. And I know all of their names and I know all of them, like, personally to some extent. And so I was like, okay, that seems pretty cool. And we were planning on doing spindles the first day, beads, coves, V-cuts, basic things. Bowls the second day, and lidded boxes the third day. And to be perfectly honest, I have never taught spindles or lidded boxes to a class. I've done demos where they don't really have to do anything. They don't have to follow along. They just watch what I do. But I had never done either of the first or third day. And I was like, sure, I can do that. Definitely. So it was really fun. And surprisingly, so we had, the class was originally suited for 8 students. And everything's spread out, so nobody freak out. So it was suited for 8 students. There's 8 full-size Laguna lathes in there and a bunch of Robert Sorby tools and a bunch of other stuff. Really cool setup. And one of the people dropped the class, and then his one person who was already in there, his son filled in immediately. So then it filled back up. And then, like, the day before class started, we found out one of the other guys that was supposed to be in there was like, oh, my wife stole me off and we're in Alaska now. And I'm like, okay. So that left an open spot for Dan to pop in and try whatever I'm doing, because he hasn't turned a whole lot either. And for his employee to also come in, Lucas, and do a couple things with us too. And out of the 8, technically 7.5, 8 people that were in the class, every single student on all 3 days completed a project that from start to finish with no wasted blanks. So no explosions, nothing fell off the lathe, nothing bad happened at all until the very last day, about an hour before we were supposed to be done and I was supposed to leave and catch my flight. One of the students ended up going on the wrong side of center and it flipped the tool up and caught the rim of his box. But I was able, with his permission, to, like, basically take it from the exact point he broke it, turn it back just a little bit and recreate the exact shape he had intended to make. So it was like nothing happened. Now the lid's just a little bit shorter, and then he could finish it off from there. So every single student, every single day, had every bit of success that is hoped for and dreamed of. And it was just like, oh my gosh. So everybody left with 3 finished types of things. I posted some pictures on the Instagram, and I think I posted a picture on the podcast Instagram. I think. I'm pretty sure. With my very happy students. And after I left, Dan actually told me, if you sign up to teach another class, we've already got like 8 people that want to take another class with you. So I was like, oh, awesome. So I might be going up to Illinois more often, which is really cool because it's only a few hours away from at least one of my parents. So it'll be nice. It's like right outside Chicago. The town that I was in is the town that they filmed Groundhog Day. So I got like the whole Groundhog Day tour. I got to step in just the little dip in the ground that Bill Murray kept stepping in a puddle every morning. So I got to see that. And it's not even a hole in the ground. It's just a little dip. And I found out lots of cool things about that movie. Like they ended up filming way longer than they expected and then had to recreate the look of winter by like putting fake snow all over the place in, I think, March and May and whenever, like it should be gone by now, but just fake snow all over the place. It's crazy. It sounds really cool. And the town there is just adorable. It's like little shops, and they put a lot of money into the town square where a lot of the scenes actually take place. So it was a really cool experience. Lots of stuff, lots of things to do, and just really cool people. Like exceptionally awesome people that I got to meet and hang out with for the 3 days. So I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to the possibility of being able to go back. Oh, and I got just some impromptu acupuncture while I was there too. his wife is a certified like licensed acupuncturist, and he was like, "Hey, Rebecca's never had acupuncture before," and she's like, "Well, would you like to try?" I was like, "Heck yeah, I would." So I got stabbed about 20 times. It was great.
And what's your opinion?
I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. Okay, so the first day, I could tell I was on my feet all day. The second and third, after I had it done, by the end of the day, I didn't feel as awful as I did before. And she's like, that's kind of the results we're trying to see.
Did you have it done in your lower back? Is that where you had it done?
No, on my knee. And she practices like more of the ancient art rather than the modern version where you're doing like the actual area that has issues, which in my case is my knee, and then the opposite side, and then upper, so like my inner elbow area.
Okay.
And then a couple key points, like I had them put in my ears and in my forehead. I guess that's like what they do for just about anywhere. I was like, "You're really putting them in my ears?" She's like, "Yeah, it's normal." I was like, "Okay, you're the boss."
From what I understand, the needles are so fine that you don't even feel them.
Yeah, it's like, you guys have dogs? You know when your dog rubs up against you and their whisker stabs you or something? And it's just like a really fine little prick, and it doesn't really hurt. It's more irritating than anything. That's about how it felt.
Okay, interesting. Closest thing I've had to that is I had 300 shots once.
Oh my gosh.
I had allergy testing, and I was allergic. I was allergic to 298 of those 300 shots.
Holy crap!
Yeah. So I ended up going into respiratory distress, and basically they bring this crash cart in, right, and they start giving me shots of adrenaline and shots of Benadryl and shots of cortisone. Trying to, because my throat's starting to close up.
Wait. Was this because of the test, or?
Yes, I went in for allergy testing. Yes, and it was 300 shots, right? So I had lines down both arms, down my back, and as they're giving me the shots, they're writing and drawing little circles, right? Well, everything starts swelling up. I was allergic to everything but cats and dogs. Go figure. Go figure. Pet dander does not bother me. But the number one thing that I am allergic to is redwood trees. I'm sorry, redbud trees. Redbud. And redbud is huge here where I live. So in the spring when they bloom, I go crazy. And all trees, all grasses, all pollens drive me nuts. So naturally, since I'm allergic to trees, what hobby do I take up?
Woodturning, yeah.
Go figure. But so that was a fun experience. That was a fun experience. But I would love to try acupuncture. I've always wanted to try it, and I don't know, just have never had the opportunity. I would, if I could do it for free, sure. Down at the tattoo parlor, like, hey, let's try some acupuncture. Boom, But no, but I would definitely try it. I think it's amazing. I think I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah, it was really cool. I heard a lot of good things from Dan about it too, because he's got some back problems as well, and she gives him a treatment every once in a while, and it just relaxes everything, And
that's why I initially asked if it was your lower back, because standing all day always hurts my lower back, and that's because I have a big belly, right? So your posture's off, right? So
you ain't got a big belly. That's a big belly.
Yeah, we're never going to have a belly contest. God. So, but I always thought I would like to have acupuncture in my lower back or wherever they give it to you. I know it doesn't always go in the place you have the issue, that because of I don't understand the science behind it, but I would love to try it and see if it did relieve the pressure and pain in my lower back. I would be very interested. So,
yeah, no, it was cool. It was a nice experience.
It sounds like a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Did you get to see your family while you were up there? You mentioned that they were only a few hours away.
No, I didn't, just because this trip was so kind of like all of a sudden and short, because I got there Thursday midday. I kind of took the tour of everything, and then Friday morning dove right in and everything started, and then I had to leave right afterwards on Sunday. So I figure if we plan it better and we schedule ahead of time, I'll be able to go out maybe like in the Chicago area, maybe get some deep dish pizza and have my family come over. Yeah, talked to my grandma and my mom about it yesterday actually, and they're like, yeah, just let us know ahead of time, we'll be there.
Oh, they would love it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I saw this week you also are going to be a demonstrator for an online symposium.
Yes,
and I was going to mention that too. So I've just had so much stuff going on. Now I need to catch up and tell you all of it. So there is going to be an online symposium September 24th through the 26th. And it is the Woodturners Worldwide Online Symposium. And it's run by Matthew, can't pronounce his last name. I probably would be able to if I tried really hard. But he runs the Instagram page, Woodturners Worldwide. And he is a pro at social media and actually promoting through social media. And he's gotten together about, I want to say like 25 different demonstrators. And that's just the confirmed list as of right now. And amazing demonstrators too. Like I'm just honored to be able to include myself as one of them. And it's all going to be, everything's virtual and just about everything is pre-recorded, which is actually probably going to be pretty cool because what he's said is that he wants every demonstrator to be present at the airing of their pre-recorded demo. So like I'll record an hour-long demo of the two that I'm going to be doing. One is my walking mushroom and the other one is my skateboard blinks. So I'll pre-record it, make sure it's edited well, make sure it's at a good pace, don't have any weird gaps, don't have any boring spots. I can fast forward through like the burning of the cap because that takes half an hour as is. And it'll actually be an edited, finished, finalized video that then I can go and just talk to the audience during the recording or during the, I guess, preview of it or whatever. And they can ask me any questions. I can answer them on the spot. We can keep the video playing if we want. We can pause. We can rewind. We can see something again. I think it's going to be really cool. And it'll end up being posted for about a month out after the actual symposium is released. And then if you wanted to register, I can put the link in the show notes to register, and I can save you $10 on your registration fee if you use my name, Rebecca, at checkout as the coupon code. So Rebecca, REBECCA, and it'll save you $10. And right now, until the end of this week, so the 7th, maybe the morning of the 8th, I'm not sure where that kind of deadline is actually cut off. It's still the early bird pricing, so you still get like an additional $20 off. So you could actually save, if you go right now, $30 off of the overall price.
Are the video? I mean, sorry, are not videos. Are the demonstrations all voiceover to where when you record your demonstration, there'll be no voice, and then as the video is playing, you're going to then narrate your own video, or will there be voice in your video as well?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be better if there's voice in the video, and then, like I said, there's going to be a 60-minute video. That video is going to be formatted however you want the finished video to be. So I'm assuming it'll be a voiceover video, and that's the recording, and it plays, and you can rewind it and do whatever. And then there's going to be an additional 30 minutes at the end where you can do question and answer separate from the video. So
will the Q&A session at the end also be available if you're not able to be there live, or just the video of your pre-recorded one? Is that going to be what's available?
That's a really good question. I am not entirely sure. I'll ask him and see if that's also going to be recorded and published with the demo. Because I'm not sure. Because I learn a lot from the question and answers.
Yeah.
And there's so many really good questions being asked. So I'll see it. I'll see what he's planning on doing with that.
Because I noticed the dates that are selected, it's a Friday through Sunday. So I know I wouldn't be able to make it to the Friday sessions. So if there's somebody on Friday that I missed and wanted to see, I wanted to know if I'd be able to go back and view that later.
I'll talk to him about that. It would be good to have that part recorded and published. Yeah. Yeah, I'll ask.
Okay.
I'll find out.
And let's see, what else happened in your life this past week? I think the last interesting thing I saw is you got a new dinosaur shirt.
Oh my gosh, that thing is so cool. I made the mistake of going in and clicking on one of the ads that pops up on my Facebook, and it was for it's Banggood.com.
Oh.
Have you guys ever gone on Banggood? Yeah, so I went on there and they had these dinosaur print shirts because, they know me. So I go on and there's like 4 different options, whether it's like the color of the shirt or the dinosaurs on them. And I just fell in love with this shirt. And so now I have a new shirt to wear at school and freak out my students and make them think I'm crazy. But I don't care because they already think I am and nothing's going to change. So, I made the second mistake of going back on, and I ordered 4 more shirts today.
Oh my gosh.
The first one was a test, and now I know that it fits, and now I'm like, okay, I can get all of them now. So I got more. One of them's got these weird monsters all over it, like really weird. Another one just has avocados all over it, but it still looks pretty cool. Another one's space themed, and I don't remember what. Oh, the last one is another dinosaur shirt. I couldn't help myself.
Oh my gosh.
I'm too busy. Oh, and I actually posted my skateboard blanks on Etsy, if anybody is wondering. They are selling fast. And I think I'm happy with the price because they go up incrementally based on the size and the pattern that you're actually buying. And usually if they're priced too low, I will sell out completely. And that hasn't happened yet. But if they're priced too high, then of course none of them are going to sell. But then I'll always get these comments like, oh yeah, your things are awesome, but I can't afford them. Or these are amazing, I can't wait to use them. I'll buy 17 of them. Or, based on whether I have it too high or too low, because nobody else sells these. Like, this is a one-off thing. I have not found anybody who sells skateboard blanks. And right now I've got a lot of people that are like, they've got it in their cart, but they haven't pushed the buy button yet. Or they are buying it and they're just waiting to see if I post any different colors to see if they really want that one or they want a brighter color one. But I think it's a pretty good spot to keep the price. But if I sell out so fast still that I don't have enough left for myself to turn, I might have to bump them up a bit or just start making way more. But that means I have to go out and get more skateboards and rip off all the grip tape, and that is my least favorite part, is the grip tape and sanding the top and bottom surface. Once I have the board prepped, it's like I'm golden, but before that it's just a miserable process. But it's worth it in the end. It's okay.
Do you use a heat gun to take that stuff off?
Yeah, well, some of them. So it depends on the manufacturer and the adhesive that they use. Some of them come off like nothing. It's like a dream. But then there's others that the heat gun actually makes everything worse. Oh. And it gets gummy and it gets gross and it like melts it to the board and everything separates from the grip tape, but it just stays on the board. And then I have to come out with like Goo Gone or Goof Off or whatever other adhesive remover you can think of and like some type of like coarse pad and just scrub at it. But then everything's got this residual oil and nastiness all over it from that, and then I have to let it dry out so that that doesn't affect the adhesion later on. It's just, oh my god, it's when I can find those boards that just peel like nothing, I am just like jumping for joy. But those others, it's usually the ones that have the really nice color on them too, that I'm like, I need that sweet, sweet board meat.
Yeah.
And I just...
Can I ask a stupid question?
Yes.
What about, you know who manufactures the board? What about going back to the manufacturer? I mean, surely they have rejects that don't make it to a final board, and perhaps they would be willing to sell some of that rejected material as opposed to paying to put it in a landfill, and it would be pre-grip tape. Just curious. Are you able to do any research that way?
I've researched a couple. There's actually a manufacturer in the area, so like within driving distance. But when I reached out to them originally, they had already had a few people, I think, that had claimed all of their rejects. So they're just like, talk to us in a few months. Maybe we won't have that partnership anymore. But yeah, I plan on, there's a couple manufacturers that I really like just the color combos that they make. I'm planning on reaching out to them. I just haven't quite figured out how yet and who specifically to talk to. But yeah, that would definitely be something that I'd like to do for sure. Just skip that middle step and all this pain.
I should have figured you'd already thought of it. It's the obvious, you know. It's obvious. Mr. Obvious here.
So what have you guys been up to?
Yeah, Bob, what have you been up to?
Well, Mike, I don't know if there's enough time left. Thanks for joining us tonight for What's Rebecca Up To. And
Rebecca's up to something.
Rebecca is always up to something. Yes.
Yes.
I tell you what, I've had an interesting. Last weekend I did nothing. I had a tournament, a lacrosse tournament I went to, but this weekend I have been out in the shop. I've been making custom blanks, small batches of custom blanks, 3, 4, 5 at a time, just for experimenting. I got a chance to turn some of them, and I'm glad that I made multiples because as I turned them, I learned how I need to approach them for drilling to be able to go down the center to get the pattern that I want. And I also found a few things that I did that I didn't like, and I want to correct when I go to version 2 of them, which that's another reason why I'm glad I didn't make a large quantity of them, because then I'd be stuck with a bunch of rejects, right? Also, I made a conscious decision after the Pat Carroll episode, and I talked in there about wanting to start using my bowl gouge, and now don't worry, I have not touched my bowl gouge. I'm not using it, but I did decide, for me right now, where I'm at in turning, I'm not ready to take that next step, but I need to get away from using the rough and gouge for turning my pins. So I made a conscientious decision to start using the Skew. And I went out, and John Lucas, I keep telling everybody it's Glenn Lucas, but it's John Lucas. I watched a couple of his videos, and they were fantastic. He talked about how to sharpen the Skew, and that was the first thing, is learning how to sharpen. And I can now sharpen my Skew, and I have my card files. I can put a little moisture on there, a little water, and grind them down, and then I take them to the strop, and literally I have a bald spot. You can't see it, but on my arm right here, where I can literally take the hair off my arm, I can get that Skew so sharp. And then all it is a matter of then is every few minutes I go strop it. I don't have to resharpen it, and it's holding a brilliant edge. But the best tip I got from him, was he said, and I don't do it anymore because now I've got the muscle memory, but on the center of your Skew, put a line. Never turn above that line. Keep it center and below. You can turn with the toe, but doing that, Mike, I put a probably an 8-inch by maybe 3-inch by 3-inch block of maple on the lathe, and I trued it with the Skew, and I turned it smooth. And then I fiddled with some beads and coves. I'm not that good with those. I got to learn a little bit more tool control, but I was able to take it back and make it smooth. Never had a catch. Probably turned a dozen pins this weekend. Never had a catch because I kept it below the black line. Now, there is a small issue with the black line. And what that small issue is as you're turning, you'll actually rub that black line right into your light blank. So I stopped using that when after I screwed up the first pin with I used a red Sharpie, and I had a nice red mark down the blank. But I've got it in my head now to stay below the center of the tool. And my gosh, I'm telling you, Mike, you were talking about wanting to learn how to use your Skew. John 60 Lucas. look up his videos. He's got a sharpening video. He's got a basic skew skills, and he's got beads and coves. I need to go back and rewatch the beads and coves, but I am so pleased with what I learned from him and so pleased with the control that I had. And I will not use I'm making an open right now. I will not use my roughing gouge going forward to turn a pin blank. It will all be done with the skew. I'll use it for what it's meant to be used for, truing up a really odd blank. Because I can even true with the skew. I mean, it's so nice, and it's faster. It's so sharp that it is actually faster to turn the blanks. So I've been really, really happy with that. And I just had a great weekend. I did a lot of time in the shop. I recorded a lot of video. It was just a fun weekend, and a lot of progress. Not as fun as Rebecca's, though. I mean, I didn't get to see Groundhog Day or step in a puddle or anything, but I did have fun in the shop. Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
That seam ripper that you turned, was that a acrylic or a resin?
That was it was a Lumelite, and it was what do they call the mesh stuff that they put below the what is that stuff called?
Oh, it's carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, yes, it's carbon fiber on a 8mm tube, and it has clear Lumelite over it, and it's amazing. I mean, the seam ripper is amazing.
And you turned that with the skew?
I turned the entire thing with the skew. Now, you guys can see it. There's not a huge... Normally, when I turn a seam ripper, I'll turn kind of a little a knob at the end where you can kind of grab a hold of it to push with. This has a very subtle dip on either end because I do need more work, honestly, with beads and coves and that type of thing. And that's where those techniques is what I would use to give this more of a stark finish. I'll put this photo out on the Instagram site so you can see it, but I'm super happy with how this thing turned out. And it was all with the skew.
And Rebecca,
that's awesome.
Rebecca, when you taught beads and coves to your 8-person class, what tool did you use?
It was all just spindle gouge.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And do you teach that with a Ellsworth grind or just a regular grind?
Whatever grind that people that ground it last left it with. So honestly,
yeah,
there were a lot of them that the grinds were just messed up, so we had to try to fix it a little bit. Originally, the spindle gouges were supposed to be left at a fingernail type grind, but I like to sweep the wings back a little bit more, and I think make it into more of an Ellsworth grind or an Irish grind, just so that the wings don't get caught. Also, it gives you a little bit more space to get into those tight V cuts. Mm-hmm. But they were all different, and a lot of people that had previously demoed there kind of mangled them. I'm not going to name any names, but some people know who they are.
You know who you are.
And then when you did your bowl, did you have them switch to bowl gouges, or they even used the spindle gouges for the bowls?
Mm-mm. So with the spindles, we were doing 2 tools. So we did the roughing gouge. We learned all about that, and then we did spindle gouge and learning how to start with one angle, start with the flute all the way open to make beads, and then close it as they come into the cove type area or the bottom of a cut. And then with the cove cut, we'd start with it closed and then open it up as we went to the bottom of the cove. And so then we were done with the spindle gouge for that day or for that time period. Then the next day we did just bowl gouge. They didn't touch anything else, and they all did so well. I was so happy for them. So we only did bowl gouge. So basically, all new concept, entirely new tool, but obviously you can use a bowl gouge for anything, literally anything. But you can't use a spindle gouge for everything, right? So we talked about the different uses for each tool and how to switch back and forth between them if you needed to. How if you're limited to only getting one traditional tool, get a bowl gouge because it's the most useful tool. And then the following day we went back to spindle gouge for the outside of the box because we did spindle boxes essentially. And then for the inside of the box we learned how to use some carbide or high-speed steel scraper tools for hollowing too. But then we also cleaned up a couple of the cuts with the bowl gouge as well. So they learned roughing gouge, spindle gouge, bowl gouge, and what else did I say? The hollowing tool. And we did use a skew, but not as a skew. We used a skew as a scraper.
Scraper, yeah. I have not. I can use the Skew as a scraper, but I have to be honest, I did not use the Skew as a scraper in anything I've done since I started using the Skew. I've not done that. So
they all learned by the end of the weekend that I hate Skews.
Oh, Rebecca.
But they are great scrapers.
I'm telling you, Rebecca, you go watch John's video and just kind of go out and practice what he said. That line down the center was gold. That was worth the price of admission, right? Because
was that your aha moment?
That was my aha moment because I'm always turning in the middle, and I know I was dropping or raising the back of the tool, the handle of the tool, and getting low, and I was getting snags. Keeping it low like that, no. That was my aha moment. Amazing. So
nice.
Cool.
Next up for me is bowl gouges, I guarantee. But we're gonna get through these spindle gouges a little bit longer. I'm sorry. Skews, not spindle gouges. Oh my God, too many tools. I just caught myself saying the wrong thing, which I do all the time. Yeah, I can't put a little comment on the screen, correcting what I said because we're not recording this. But
well, I've been up to a whole bunch of nothing this past week, really. I had a good week at work, but not much out in the shop. I did a little more demolition and rearranging today. I'm following your advice, Rebecca, and I'm trying to get rid of as many flat surfaces as I can so that they stop collecting things. And that does seem to be working so far. Everything is ending up back where it belongs instead of where I set it. So yeah, that was today. So I'm a little tired from that, but it was a good day to be outside because it was only like maybe 79 degrees, no humidity. It was a perfect day outside.
It's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Had the garage door open all the way, turned off the air conditioner, and just enjoyed the afternoon. It was glorious.
Mm.
Yeah, but
I'm a little jealous of you guys up there.
I'm sorry.
We paid for it, though. Coming into this weather, we paid for it.
Yeah, we did.
The storms and the rain, but it was worth it today.
But what I have also been doing is, trying to plan out some projects that I do want to work on that are non-pen related. One of them being some texturing type of jobs. And I don't know, Rebecca, what do you think I should use for texturing?
What are you trying to texture?
Well, this would
because I have some great advice.
This would be
wood. Oh. Well, have I got the tools for you? If you go to sabertooth.com and you look at their wide variety of burrs and carving discs, you can texture and carve and shape and form just about anything you want or need. And right now and forever, as far as I know, if you enter YMT at checkout, you could save 10% on your online order from sabertooth.com. Superior carbide carving tools.
It's so amazing that you know that.
I actually gave them a shout out on my YouTube live today. We were talking about it.
Oh, did you?
I forget how the topic came up, but I recommended everybody check out Sabertooth Tools, and also mentioned YMT would give them a 10% discount. So hopefully hopefully we convert somebody over there. So that'd be great.
Well, I'm about ready to...
I've got a couple people.
I'm about ready to place my first order. I've got, I think, 4 of the burrs picked out that I want to get.
Oh, nice. See, I don't know if, Bob, you have seen their variety. I was talking to Michael a couple days ago, right? Mm-hmm. About some of them. I sent sort of a short video of, like, if you're trying to do these things, mm-hmm. these are the ones you would use. If you're trying to do these other things, mm-hmm. you might want to use these. But, like, just the shapes and forms and their variety is just that it's so vast that you can do just about anything with them. And then for just fine detail texturing, just like those yellow, even maybe green if you really need to hog out a lot of material, then it goes up to medium coarse, but like getting any higher than that, into like the orange and red, and blue and purple are terrifying. Those are just like absolutely, I don't even know that I want those unless I'm just going to be doing like basically chainsaw carving essentially with those things. But like the yellow and white, that if you have a small piece, like even just a small hollow form, and you want to do some texturing to the outside, it will end up looking just so cool just from what you can do with those.
Well, for me, I haven't started doing hollow forms yet, but I do intarsia. And I was thinking about the possibilities of using some of the bits for doing intarsia. And Michael, that's what I want to shout out to you. You talked about being ready to place an order for 4 bits, which is great. I'm excited for you. But what are you going to use to spin those bits? Have you got like a Fordham tool or something like that?
I don't have a Fordham yet. I'm going to have to save up for one of those. They're a little spendy. But right now I have a Dremel 3000, and for what I want to do, it'll be fine because I'm not hogging out a ton of material. I'm just adding some texture to the shape.
Texture, right? Because the bits are designed to be high speed, right? Used with a high speed tool, like a dental style high speed tool.
And not necessarily that fast, because the dental tool gets, you're talking upwards.
Like piercing.
Yeah, that's piercing speed, and you're probably upwards of 100,000 RPM.
Okay.
With the saber tooth, I think Fordham tops out around, 40,000 RPM?
I'm not sure. I have the Fordham SR, and I usually don't have the pedal all the way down. So I'll go maybe like 2/3-ish speed of what it is actually capable of, and it works really well, and then it doesn't burn out the bit either. Because I've been using a couple of my cutting burrs for like, I want to say close to 4 years now, and they're still going strong.
See, I think that would be the way. I'm a lightweight user with intarsia. You're not doing any serious hogging or anything. It's just more shaping and texturing and things like that. And I actually probably am going to have to do a project this year. I didn't do one last year. Well, I did one last year, but I didn't do one for Christmas last year. But I think this year for Christmas, last year for Christmas I had some good gift opportunities. This year I don't, so I think there's going to be an intarsia project in my future. So I need to go browse the bits and just see what's available. But the problem is, all I have is a standard Dremel, which doesn't really, offer the speed that I probably need. So I'm going to have to look at a tool to be able to spin those bits.
Yeah, well, in my hands-on classes that I do every once in a while, like, are you talking just the handheld motor, basically, the Dremel tool?
Yeah, just the hand, everything's in.
Yeah, they work. They just, like you said, they just don't hog out a ton of material, but they're good for shaping small or soft woods.
Yeah, and that's mostly what I do. That's mostly with the intarsia.
Yeah, so that might be fine.
Okay.
You're just going to end up putting it to work.
Yeah. And the 3000 that I have does work with a handheld, I don't even know what you call it, but it's a power takeoff basically. So you hook it onto the Dremel, and you can hang it up like you do the Fordham, and then you have the handheld spindle to do all your work with.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to be trying out.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, that's why I was questioning, to kind of learn a little bit, and hopefully some of our listeners, this gave them an opportunity, maybe some of the questions I have, since I'm new to it, maybe they'll find uses for the bits as well. So,
yeah, our listeners do come up with a bunch of good questions, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Nice segue.
Maybe we should answer a few of those.
Yeah.
So this is round 2 of listener questions that we're doing, and I've asked a couple of times this week for new questions, and I got one. I've really got to up my social media game because nobody is seeing my stuff. But I post a picture of me rearranging my shop, and I get all kinds of likes. And that's the other thing. I posted a question on Facebook. I got one answer. Thank you, Don Peters, very much. And 17 likes. There are 17 people that saw that and said, no, I don't have a question.
17. How many followers do you have? 18?
19 if I include myself.
19. Okay. I understand.
But I do have a question for you two. So,
Okay.
and since I do listen to this podcast every week, multiple times, I think I count as a listener.
Well, I would agree. I would most definitely agree.
Is that where all our downloads are coming from?
Well, yeah, I listen to it probably two to 2.5 times when I'm doing the edit. Yeah, getting rid of all that stuff.
I'm sorry. It's my drink.
For every hour of audio we do, it takes me 3 hours to edit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have to clear my throat so often.
You two are terrible.
I know.
The noises
Good
that come
God.
out of your mouths. Oh my God.
And I understand. I understand completely, Michael. I get people all the time getting frustrated at me for my videos because they say, oh, you just set a camera out there. They don't realize I understand what you go through because it takes an insane amount of time, and that's just the videos. I can't imagine with doing audio.
Well, audio is easier than video. I mean, all I got to do is listen and wait for somebody to go, and I stop. I clear it and move on. With
All right.
with the video, you're also having to make sure you got to set up the camera at the right angle. So
Yeah.
there's pre-production time, post-production time, and then rendering time, upload time. Doing YouTube videos is a lot more complicated and involved than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
But wait, you don't just set up your camera and go?
You do? Because I have yet to see anything on your channel.
Yeah, good point. What's Rebecca up
So
to?
much work.
That's why Mike has to listen to the podcast 2.5 times to see what Rebecca's up to because he can't watch her on YouTube because she's not posting anything.
Dang it, I know. I need to get up to something so that I can be up to something.
So why don't we start with one of you two with questions?
Okay.
Maybe Bob. Why don't you pose a question?
Well, I tell you what, I asked for questions and I didn't receive any, so Bob has no questions. So I'm going to be a receivee instead of a deliverer.
Hey, no questions?
None.
Ooh. My
I failed.
Instagram and Facebook game is stronger than Bob's. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, but we talked about this pre-show. I actually got a lot of questions. However, the questions were more geared toward what I do in my shop as opposed to what the three of us do. So they didn't necessarily apply. So I did a couple of YouTube lives and I answered those questions for the people who asked them. So that's so.
You just killed my victory dance.
Yes, I know. Sorry.
Okay, Rebecca.
Well,
what do you have?
I have questions. I have a long list of questions. Okay. Are you ready? I have the first one.
Yeah.
It can apply to everyone. From Cameron Maybury. How can you make so many repetitive pieces so often? And I think with casting and pen turning and blank making and me with my random repetitive things, I think this can pretty much apply to everybody. So how do you handle doing repetitive work so often?
Repetitive work is what pays the bills.
Good point. Yeah.
That's right. So money is a good motivator.
Money is a very good motivator. Yeah, when you've got an item that sells and sells well, then you make a lot of them. And that enables you to have some money to invest in the items that aren't going to move so well, but you do solely for your own pleasure, which is what I'm getting ready to work on, because I know at the end of it, this first one is going to be god-awful ugly, because it's going to be a learning process, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, if you've got something that there's a market for, then it's one of those things you just have to do. And it's really, once you do it enough, you can zone out, and it's more like Zen time in the shop than it is time that you're having to slog through, in my opinion. How about
it's
you,
nice,
Bob?
but don't let things get too zen.
No.
Because then terrible things can happen, as I have heard and seen.
Well, I haven't done an improper mixture on resin yet, and I've been doing it for 3 years now, so I haven't gotten too in the shop yet.
Well, that's good.
I haven't gone too Spicoli yet.
I tell you, for me, this is a wonderful question, because I internalize about this all the time, because my channel is a very niche channel, and basically I turn a pin, and the next week I come out and I turn a pin, and the week after I turn a pin, right? So it is extremely repetitive in what I do. I try to, and it bothers me, because I feel like I'm doing the same video this week that I did the last 5 weeks, right? However, the people that view those videos really seem to enjoy them. So I'm constantly trying to look for a way to not really tweak the video, but to add something to the video that can benefit the viewer, a tip or a trick. And now my entire game is changing. I mentioned the Skew. I'm going to go from using rough and gouge to using the Skew, so I'll be able to drop in tips about using the Skew and turn it this way and lift it, and it can kind of enhance my videos a little bit. I still fight that internal battle, and I still have a very hard time doing what I do week in and week out, because if I'm bored, then the video is not going to be good or interesting to the viewer. I've got to, so I've really got to put myself in the mood to go out into the shop and want to turn, or else that comes through and the viewer is not going to, it's not going to be good for them or me. That's a great question, because it is a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah, and for me, I have just such a bad case of ADOS, which we've talked about in the past, the attention deficit. Ooh, shiny. So I need to maintain, if I'm making a repetitive thing, like say I'm doing a pendant, I can't just do one pendant. I have to do the whole blank of pendants. Otherwise, I'll take it off the chuck and then it'll be off center the next time I put it back on. So I might do 7 pendants in one go. And then either I'll already be bored with it, or I'll be just super determined, well, I'm already in the groove, so let's do this many more. And then I'll just set myself a goal, like finish this blank, and then if I'm still feeling up to it, finish another blank. But then I'll leave the back of all of the pendants. So I'll have now like 13, 14 pendants where all of the fronts are turned and they're parted off, and now I'll have the backs to do. So in that case, if I'm not up to it, like if I'm not just feeling it, I have so many other things that I can switch back and forth between, which on the bright side, it gives me a lot of opportunity to switch and keep everything kind of like moving and upbeat and a little bit more spontaneous for my own needs. But on the downside, I have a lot of unfinished piles of things. Like I've got a bowl of unfinished pendants just because I don't want to do the backs of all of them right now. And so I'll do a couple of them, and then I'll put the other ones in the bowl, and I'll be like, well, if these 2 sell, then maybe I'll do the other 2. And I'll just have kind of like an in progress sort of a waiting station where this is the stuff that I'm going to get back to eventually, or when there is a need. If there's not a need, like I don't feel any desire to do it, because then I can go off and I can work on turning mushroom bodies or mushroom caps, and then I can sit on the couch for a little while with my fan on and do some wood burning. And like I have all these, I have a lot of repetitive things that I can do, but they're all very different from one another. So kind of keeping those things separate and not standing at my lathe for like 8 hours doing the same thing all day is really important for me to just jump back and forth between a bunch of different ongoing things. So that's kind of how I do it. But if I really need to do it, I'll put my shoes on, because I found that keeps me working more. And I will set a time, or I'll set a time limit for myself, and I'm like, I'm going to do this for this long, I'm going to take this time for a break for a little while, and then I'll get back to it if there's something that I really need to get done. But yeah, Michael, it pays the bills. It helps out with a lot of stuff. So money is a great motivator, but that's definitely not the only reason I keep up at it. Yeah.
And there's something to be said about getting into the groove too, because if you hit that stride of where everything's just hitting right and you're not messing anything up and everything you do is productive, the next thing you know, an hour and a half has gone by and you don't even really notice it.
Yeah. Hour and a half or 3 hours, or it's already 4 o'clock and you haven't eaten today because you're just so into what you're doing. I find myself doing that quite a bit. I was like, oh dang, this is why I'm all shaky. I need to go get some food, just because I dive in and I like get almost obsessive with it. But it's like I'm in the groove. I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I need to be doing, and then I feel very accomplished at the end of the day once I finally tackle that thing that's just been kind of like hiding off in the corner, just like, you need to get me done. Like, you need to do this thing. Like, just like kind of poking me. Just do it. Do it. And then I do. And then I feel better. So sometimes it's just like to do it to get it off my list. Yeah. Okay. Ready for the next question? Or do you guys have one?
Oh, I've got one.
I've got more.
I've got one. And this is a quick one.
Okay.
Don asked earlier today if we have a favorite jig that we use. And I thought that might be interesting to discuss.
I'm not much of a dancer, so no, I don't dance.
No, so you can't break out the Irish jig?
No. I'll go ahead and start on this. Yeah, I definitely have a favorite jig, and it changed. It was a game changer for me, and that is my sanding jig. I luckily purchased a disc sander, right? And I purchased a sanding jig. Actually, I say purchased. I was gifted a sanding jig that mounts onto your, what's the piece that you push? I just went blank.
The miter.
Miter. It mounts onto your miter. Okay, so you can set it at 90 degrees to your sanding disc, and then you put punches in. You buy a set of punches, and you can put a punch in for the size tube that you have. Slide your blank on there, and you can run it back and forth a couple times, twisting the blank, and it perfectly squares the blank to the tube. It's extremely fast, and that was a game changer for me, and I use that literally every single pin I turn. It is one of my favorite jigs.
See, I was also going to say a sanding jig, except I have a different one than you. Mine is one that you insert into a Jacob's chuck, and you sand on the lathe. So it's like a box that has a lid on it, and the lid will come down and hold on to one of those punch-out, the punch-outs, like you were talking about, to hold it in place. And so everything is in line with the lathe. So you don't have to worry about, is your bed parallel or at 90 degrees, or there's really no setup. So all I do is just throw it into the Jacob's chuck, and I throw a sanding disc into the headstock on the lathe, get it spinning, and just shape stuff up.
Nice.
It's nice.
Those kind of jigs are so great. I mean, the time you save it's worth it.
Saves time, and it saves blanks too, because it's nowhere near as aggressive as a barrel trimmer.
Oh, I know. I hate barrel trimmers. I'm a strong opponent of them. I do not like them.
They've exploded way too many of my blanks.
Yes, way too many.
And I see they have a new one out now that uses carbide inserts. I would not go near that thing.
No, I have one. I have both styles.
Oh, really?
Don't use it. Rebecca, you don't make many pins, right? But
no, I don't.
Are you still using
every
a barrel
once
trimmer?
in a while. That's really all I have for it. I've thought about trying it on my disc sander, but I always feel like I have some type of inconsistency that I wouldn't be able to do it as accurately as you guys are talking about. But no, my jig that I would say is I haven't used it yet, but I've used others in the past. But I made one for myself, and it's a spline cutting jig for box splines, so the corner of boxes. And I'm dying to use it because I've got this maple box that I'm ready to glue up, and it's mitered on the corners. It's got kind of a floating panel for the bottom, and it's got a lid that just kind of sets into a little kind of rabbit groove around the inside. And I want to cut splines out of skateboards and then have little skateboard legs that go onto it. And I am just dying to use this thing. And, you know, I said I've used them in the past, and now I've made my own, and I haven't tested it out yet just because I'm nervous. So I'm going to get into that soon. And I've got my box sitting out, so I'm hoping that it'll be within the next week or so that I actually cut the kerfs for the splines and put the splines in there and see how it goes. So I'm just excited to see how it goes.
So now,
I really like spline jigs and table saw jigs. Those are fun.
This jig is just for boxes then?
Yes.
So,
well, it can be for like picture frames and things too. So it's for a miter. It's for the corners of larger objects.
Something that's at a 90 degree. Okay. So my question then is, how do you cut the spines or splines into your walking sculptures? Or is that a trade secret?
Hand. No, it's not. I'll definitely be demonstrating it in about a month and a half now at the Woodturners Worldwide Online Symposium. And I actually had a terrible thing happen a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I told you guys about this. So on the legs that I make, so my little walking things, I was doing some walking mushrooms and I was batching, and so it was the part of the batching that I was doing the legs. So I'll turn the leg in one piece. I'll take a thin kerf saw and I'll cut the leg right at the knuckle or the knee joint, and I'll flip it around. I'll glue it together. And then it's still not even parted off of the piece yet. So it's still chucked up into the thing. But now there's this little end that I flip around, and now it's at an angle. So it's got that little knee joint. Well, I was holding on to the leg to kind of brace it, because at this point, like right up at the top of the leg, kind of the thigh section, it's pretty thin. And so I'm holding it while I'm actually taking the same thin kind of curved saw blade to cut the kerf for the spline to go into, which is just a piece of veneer. Well, while I'm holding it, I'm bracing it, and then the thigh snaps and my thumb moves and I'm still cutting. and I just sliced right into my thumb with this stupid little like $7 saw, and I'm like, oh my god. And it was just, I don't know if this is like a trigger warning, but if you don't want to hear about this for the next couple seconds, maybe skip forward, but there was blood everywhere. And like I had to run to the bathroom and get toilet paper, wrap it up, hold a lot of pressure on it before I was even willing to look at it, because by that point, like my hand was just awful and gross. And anyways, it was just disgusting. And of course I took pictures of it right after it happened, after it stopped bleeding.
Of course.
So I've got a picture of it. I can put a little warning and even post the picture of my thumb. I love posting these pictures on social media because you get the most awful responses in the comments. It's like you post a picture of something happening terrible, and then it's like, whoa, I've got a picture of some terrible thing that happened to my hand or my finger or my leg a couple years ago. Here, I've saved the picture from that long ago. So then it's just like an onslaught of gruesome pictures of shop injuries. I was like, this is a really good warning for any shop teacher. Like, just post those pictures all over any tool that it happened on, and nobody will use that thing carelessly anymore. But anyways, this stupid little saw. But definitely not a trade secret, to answer your question. I do it by hand. It's usually with a Veritas dovetail saw. It gets just the right kerf to fit a piece of, I think it's 32nd of an inch veneer into it. Okay. It's real nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
What you were just saying gave me an idea for an episode.
Oh, shop injuries?
Shop injuries, but...
I've got a couple people that could come on as guests for that,
well,
by the way.
I was going to say we could do listener shop injuries and have them do like a voice note on their phone and email it to us so that we could play it on the show.
Oh, yes.
And maybe they send us a picture as well so that we could, put it on our Instagram page. I'm
just like with my murder podcast, I am fascinated by injury photos. There's an Instagram account, and I don't know if they changed their name, but it's called OSHA Offenders, and oh gosh, you don't want to watch that. I like it. I mean, I don't like it. It's just it's like a car accident. You have to see it.
Yeah.
You have to see what happened.
You can't.
So
not
you're gonna
watch
look.
it.
Exactly. Oh my God, some of them are just gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. On that, there was a picture. Somebody was talking about an injury that they got on a saw this past week in one of the forums. And a guy posted a picture saying, this isn't actually from the saw, it's from the kickback. And the webbing between his thumb and his index finger got hit by whatever got kicked back, and it cut into his hand. And here's the fun part about it. I told this to my daughter because we both kind of have this fascination about injuries, but she is a theater major at Ball State, and part of her major is she's learning how to do prosthetics. So she said, send me that picture because I can probably recreate it. So she goes to school in a couple weeks, and I'm just waiting to see her first project end up being this, severed hand.
Oh my gosh.
Shit, it'd be real
that's
easy.
Awesome.
So, needless to say, she's going to be doing my Halloween makeup this year.
Nice.
I was thinking maybe doing the zipper face.
Ooh, yeah, where it's like right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, are we ready for the next one?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Okay. Eli Polite, who I hope will come on the show at some point, asks, what is your nemesis? We all have one, and how do you or did you deal with it?
Ooh, that is a good question.
It is, right? I don't even know my answer. I don't know why I'm asking this one.
I'll go ahead and lead off because I as I sort of stumble with my speech, no, I won't do that. I took a lot of flack because when I first started turning, I didn't have a lot of tools, and I started turning with a roughing gouge. And in my videos, I turn everything with a roughing gouge, right? And over the years, a lot of people said, hey, you're using the wrong tool. You need to be using a Skew, blah, 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 whatever. And it was my nemesis because every time I tried to use it, and Michael will tell you, it was kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I could use it. Other times I would destroy blanks. And Michael actually came into Evansville one time, and we were going to work together on it. And I could not. I skipped that blank a dozen times. I could not use it. And I guess part of it was the pressure of having someone else in the shop and trying to teach them how to use it. So the Skew for the longest time was my nemesis. And basically, I just made up my mind, I am going to beat this. I want to use this tool. It is a far better finish when you're done with it than the roughing gouge. It makes sense to use for what I'm doing, right? And I just set my mind to it and went out, and I didn't watch just any video. I looked for some of the guys who you've heard of, guys who are professional turners, to give me tips and advice, and watched a few videos and went out and mimicked what I saw and basically was able to beat it. And now I'm very happy. I'm not 100% over it. I'm still nervous every time I turn with it, but that for the longest time, it scared the living bejesus out of me. And, I'm trying to use nice words. And, but that was kind of for me. That was one of them. But now I feel really good about it, and I'm excited once again about turning because I've rediscovered this new tool, and I haven't killed myself with it yet. So that's good.
Keyword,
that is good.
Yes.
Yeah, I did put yet in there.
Well, the good thing is you can only kill yourself once.
Only once. That's right. Wasn't it Daffy Duck who did a show one time where he went into and he drank a bunch of like TNT and blew himself up, and it was the greatest trick they ever saw, and he's like, yeah, the bad thing is I can only do it once. Remember that? You guys didn't watch Daffy Duck?
I don't remember
that one. I don't remember that one, no.
Okay. You guys go ahead with your answer. I'm going to look on YouTube and see if I can find that video, and I'm going to send you a link.
Well, I'll follow you, Bob, and I will say the Skew is also, I guess, one nemesis of mine, and I haven't overcome that yet, so I'm not going to use that as my main example. I'm just going to say I haven't done anything to do anything about that. But another nemesis I have, I guess, is clutter. and my issues with organization, and I lose things constantly. Like, I will be in the middle of a demo and I have everything laid out on the table and I can't even keep track of my own demo stuff. So I have to tell my audience when it's a live demo, like, please watch where I put these things. And they will. If I make sure that they know I'm being serious, they will make sure that I don't lose the stuff that I'm looking for. And I just have to be like, okay, where is that thing? And I'll have 3 or 4 people in the audience like point right to it. It'll be great. But one way I've dealt with that is, first of all, if somebody's watching, I tell them they need to watch where I put things. And I did that at the class over the weekend too, and they were awesome about it. Because like every time I'd put like a dry erase marker somewhere it didn't belong, because there were only 4. And only 4 seems like a lot for some people, but not for those people that walk away and put it over in the toolbox where it doesn't go. So they like caught me every time I put anything anywhere weird. But another way that I've gotten over doing stuff like that is I've got my demos separated into tubs. So I've got different specific tubs for every type of demo that I do. So like I've got walking boxes, walking finials, walking mushrooms. I've got finials that don't walk. I've got boxes of all sorts of different varieties. I've got gnomes and penguins and well, I already said mushrooms, but like everything is very, very specific to those little tubs, and they're just like the little Sterilite shoebox things with the lids. You can buy like 10 to a pack, and they're only like $8 or something for the 10 of them. So I have got so many of those tubs where if I need to upgrade, if it's a large demo, I'll get one of the larger tubs and I'll stick it somewhere else, but it's all labeled. So I've got a label maker. It is my friend. And everything gets labeled. I sent Michael a couple pictures a few weeks ago where I get carried away with my label maker. Yes, it helps me with organization, but it also helps me kind of be a little bit more shop friendly. So any guesses as to what I might have named my Binks pressure pot?
Oh. I already know.
I like to name my stuff.
Binksy?
Nope.
Oh.
Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. Oh, should have known that one.
How about my my DeWalt planer? That one has a name too. This is something we need to ask audience members. Do you name your tools? Because I do. So my planer.
Old Yeller?
Oh. This one cracks me up every time. I named it Severus Snipe. So, okay, labels and boxes, and then just bring a little humor to your shop if it's a space that you're in all the time. I can't deal with a dull space, so I need to put some color on the walls, and I need to name the rest of my machines. So, there we have it.
Do you have a name for your label maker?
You know what? No, I don't. I need to label my label maker.
Okay, we're going to have a contest. We're going to see who
I need to find it first.
can come up with the best name for Rebecca's label maker.
I also need a name for my bandsaw and my table saw, but they need to be clever. My bandsaw is a Laguna, my table saw is a Delta. Clever names.
Ooh, Delta. Wow, see.
I'll have to work on that one.
All right. Well, while you think about that and while the audience helps, Michael? What's your nemesis?
My nemesis? That would probably have to be Newman, the postal carrier. Did you never watch Jerry Seinfeld?
Jerry Springer?
Jerry Springer, yeah.
Why is he your nemesis?
It was a joke. Newman.
I didn't like him in Jurassic Park either.
Yeah, he was.
Isn't that who it was?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, I didn't like him at all. I don't think you were supposed to like him.
No.
I was all for that creepy dinosaur spitting all over him.
Of course, you would root for the dinosaurs.
They're so nice.
Yes, they are. Shop nemesis. Actually, it might have to be me. Because
That's interesting.
I have a really bad habit of seeing something that looks interesting and saying, "Ooh, I want to try doing that." and then I go out and buy everything it takes to do that. Which is why I have an issue with space in my shop.
Yeah. I know that feeling, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I would never do that.
No, you'd never do that. I've probably said it before on this podcast, but my shop has reached maximum density, and if I add one more tool to it, there will be a small thermonuclear reaction.
Yeah, kind of like that Monty Python episode, one thin wafer of beef.
Yeah. It's merely a thin wafer. Yeah. No, it's bad. It's bad. If I watched some of Eli's videos on segmenting, and it took every ounce of control I had not to go out and start making jigs.
Right?
I know. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, who works with corian in this area that I can go get drops from and start making jigs?
Right? Well, and the segmenting he does, it's just so far beyond traditional segmenting.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and the detail in it is amazing.
And the trouble is, I haven't put in the time before. I'm sure he's been doing segmenting for years and has developed his own procedures and methods and jigs like he showed on some of his videos, but I haven't put in that time, and I want to jump right to what he's making, and it's just going to be bad. It's going to be really bad if I do. So I've actually got a book that I won at the last AAW meeting I went to before the COVID shutdown, and it's about segmenting. And I think I'm going to start working my way through that book. That's one of the things I want to start working on aside from pens, as well as texturing and painting. Because there was a phase 2-3 years ago where everybody was using those Josana iridescent paints, and wouldn't you know it, I've got them, but I've never used them.
They're probably all dried up.
That's entirely possible. I should probably go out and look at them before I decide, hey, I'm actually going to use these.
Well, if they're dried up, Michael, perhaps you could turn them into blanks and turn them. That's what I did with my paint.
I've got that. I've got somebody created paints using actual metals that are suspended in the paint. So there's copper, bronze, brass, and iron. I have those.
They're great.
I've had them so long, the metal has settled out.
Dude, my house paint's like that, but it's rust from the top. See, so I've got metal flaking all of my house paint.
I've got a Niji laser that you can use for burning patterns into barrels for pens. I've used it maybe 3 times. I got the jig, and it's been dropped a couple times now, and is probably out of square and plumb, and probably won't do anything anymore. So now I have to decide, well, am I going to invest another $100 in that, or do I upgrade to the next newest version?
Upgrade.
Ooh.
Upgrade. Definitely upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade and send me the old one.
I'm serious. The old one is pretty trashed. The frame has been broken in 3 places.
Oh, geez. Never mind.
Yeah. So like I said, it's me, because I get all this stuff and then just never use it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I understand.
And I'm sure you want to use all of it, but finding the time to be able to go back and do all those things, time is my nemesis.
So maybe if I had a job where I had the summer off.
Hey. I still pack my schedule full of everything.
Yes, you do. With stuff you want to do.
I do it on purpose. Yes, it's great.
That's one of the things I'm jealous about teachers for, is that they do have that time to do things that they want to do, but the other 9 months of the year and how little you get reimbursed and how little you're respected, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually had this a very similar conversation sort of with my my principal. She likes to do this thing on our way out, and this was not this year because we didn't actually see each other on our way out, but last year. She was like, so what are your plans to do whatever this summer? And I was like, well, I've got this demo there, and I've got this demo there, and I've got this demo here, and then I have about 3 days off, and then I've got another demo here. And she's just like looking at me like with saucer eyes, like, what? When are you going to relax? You're supposed to relax. I was like, this is how I relax. What are you talking about? She's just like, okay. Have fun, I guess. I was like, okay, I will. See you next year. But no, I'd have to agree. We need that time off. Mm-hmm. And I know any other teacher would tell you the same thing. Like, without those 3, and it's not even 3 weeks off. It's usually only about 2. Without those 2 weeks off, or 2 months, sorry, we'd go crazy. Like, job retention would be in the toilet. Like, there would be no one coming back if it was all year like we have it normally. But with those couple months off in the middle of the year, it's like it makes it bearable.
Yep.
But
so I think we've got time for about one more, as we're pretty much already at the hour mark, I think. If not, we're very close. Did you get any responses to your query?
Yes, I did. Give me a minute. Do you want to do a couple of rapid fire this or that questions and then one more other?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some rapid fire. Seriously rapid fire, though, because they're not would you rather. They are this or that. You ready?
Well, who are you asking them to?
Both of you.
Ooh.
Okay. Phone call or text?
Phone call.
Phone call. Yep.
Phone call. Facebook or Twitter?
Neither.
I don't Twitter, so Facebook.
Facebook. Ice cream cone or snow cone?
Ice cream.
Ice cream cone.
Ice cream cone for sure. Music or podcasts?
Ooh.
Oh. That's
right?
hard.
Ugh.
I think it depends on what I'm doing.
It's a mood thing. Yeah, it's a mood thing. That's a great question.
All right, so either or would work for those, right?
Both equally, yeah. I love them.
Okay, cake or pie?
Cake.
Pie.
Pie.
Pie is just liquid cake.
Big party or small gathering?
Small gathering.
Small.
I'd have to agree. Ooh, nice car or nice home interior, not including shop?
Nice car.
Home.
I'd have to say home.
Men, you got to realize now. Mostly, my wife would say nice home interior. See, men, we don't think about things like that. We would still be living in caves if it wasn't for wonderful women to move us into beautiful interior homes, right? Nice dirt floor. All we need is a refrigerator and a TV, right?
See, I put a little more thought into that. Mine was happy wife, happy life. So home interior, we're good.
Okay. Car or truck? Going
Car.
on the vehicle theme.
Car.
If I really had my druthers, it'd be a truck.
I'd have to say truck too, because I need to be able to haul wood and stuff.
Yeah, I had a truck for a while. Fast car, way better.
Okay. At the movie, candy or popcorn? I'm popcorn all the way.
Milk
Popcorn.
duds.
Yum. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Waffles.
Waffles. Ooh. Coffee cup or thermos?
I don't
don't
use
drink
a coffee
coffee.
cup. I use those.
Wait, what?
Those.
Neither of you
Yetis.
drink coffee?
No, I drink tea
Wait.
out of a Yeti.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not a-
Okay,
I'm not a
so
coffee
in
drinker.
for your tea.
I don't
You
drink
have a-
tea.
Well,
Oh my goodness!
I guess
Who did I get into a podcast with?
I guess I'm going to have to lean toward thermos because I use the Yeti cups, the Yeti style cups,
Okay.
right?
I think
they're-
that's more of a thermos style.
I'll go thermos then, yeah.
Okay, I'm going with coffee cup, and Michael is crazy.
I take water in my thermos to work.
Okay, so thermos.
Yes.
All right. Soup or sandwich?
Sandwich.
Both.
Sandwich. Ninjas or pirates?
Ninjas.
Ninjas.
Ninjas. Yeah. Okay. You guys are good. All right. Now let's go for a hypothetical. Would you rather? Would you rather have no chicken nuggets for the rest of your life or no tacos for the rest of your life? And that one is from Jason Rockhold.
No tacos.
No. No chicken nugs.
I feel the same as Michael. I would rather have tacos than chicken nuggets.
I love tacos.
if I had to choose.
Don't get me wrong, but chicken is one of my all-time favorites. And if I can get some chicken nugs, are okay. But if I can get some good fried chicken, I'm a happy kid.
Oh no,
But
the
you
choice.
could have a chicken taco.
Yeah.
No, but it's not the same. I'm talking fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. Oh,
Yeah, but this was chicken nuggets or tacos, and chicken nuggets
Right.
are not chicken.
But they are. See, you take the breast meat off of the bone and you cut it up into little nuggets, and then you fry them just like you would fried chicken. That's what my wife does, and they are phenomenal. So
Okay, I've got a couple more short would you rather ones. Do we have time?
we do.
Sure.
This is fun.
Okay. Would you rather? I'm going to reinterpret Ken Talbot's would you rather it done a particular way or have me do it, where I'm going to reinterpret that. Would you rather have it done well or fast?
Well,
Okay, I would have to agree. Would you rather from Shannon R. James, James, listen to a baby cry forever or have a telephone ring every time you walk into a room?
telephone.
Telephone.
Right? If it's only going to ring once and then you're good, then just stay in that room for a long time.
Or
I can let the
answer
battery
it.
die on the phone.
No, it's going to happen. You don't know where the phone is either.
then I want the patent on that phone because mine won't hold a charge.
It's a landline.
Who uses a
What are those?
landline anymore?
Landline? What is that? Is it like a land shark?
Would you rather,
Land shark.
and this one can be land shark. Would you rather travel to the past or the future?
Past.
I'd say past.
Yeah, probably past. If I go to future, I'd know
Do you
how
have
I
a s-
die. Could be
Oh, I
bad.
don't want to know that. Do you have a time frame?
For the traveling to the past? Not really. I'm a very inquisitive person. I'd like to travel to places and get the truth about how things came about, right? What really happened as opposed, you know what I mean? I'm just inquisitive like that.
I would probably go back to when the Black Death was going on to see if people were arguing back then about masks or not. Moving on.
Okay. Do we want more?
Oh, we are pushing in at an hour
We
and a half.
are right
yeah.
around that time though. Okay, we can wrap it up.
Save those. We'll do those at the end of another podcast. They can be fit in any time. They're fun.
Yes, they can. Oh, we have dad jokes.
Oh, that's right.
Dad jokes. Yeah. Are you guys prepared? Are
No.
you prepared?
No.
It's been 2 weeks since we
I'm
did
not.
this.
I am prepared,
Okay.
and I have listener dad jokes.
Ooh.
I got to pull up my dad joke list, so bear with me. Go ahead.
Okay, my dad joke or a listener dad joke?
Either.
Okay, well, you guys, I just said that I'd like to go into the past to find out what really happened. Do you guys know, this is a little known fact, that Captain Hook bought his hook from a secondhand store? All right, perfect. Rebecca, you're up.
I've got two.
All
One of
right.
them was because I've been eating a lot of celery lately and I'm a big dork. How does celery follow people? It stalks.
It stalks. Oh, man.
I've got another one too.
All right, let's have it.
This one was sent to me by Arthur Barber. Did you know that ants never get sick? It's because they have little antibodies.
Oh, you just stole mine.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Oh.
Did I really?
Well, Michael, while you think of another joke.
Oh, I've got another one. I've got my list up.
Okay, you go ahead. Then I'll tell a listener joke or two.
When do jokes become dad jokes?
When they're bad.
When they become apparent.
Oh. Have you got any listener jokes, Mike?
No, I don't have any this time.
right,
Wait a minute. We
Oh.
may both have the same one. Is it from Mark Tobacco?
I do have one from Mark, so you go ahead and tell it. I've also got one from Terry Vance.
I actually don't have it up right now, so if you want to go ahead and tell his, go ahead.
Okay, from Mark Tobacco. Someone broke into my garage and stole my limbo stick. I mean, really, how low can you go? Okay, that was Mark. And how about this one from Terry Vance? I'm going to direct this one at Rebecca because I think this will make sense to her. Rebecca, why do chickens lay eggs?
Why?
Because if they dropped them, they would break. And I actually have one more from Mark Tobacco, and I'll go ahead and give it. What did the Dalmatian say after lunch? That hit the spot.
I knew that one.
That's right up there with tentacles, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a lot of good dad jokes this week. A lot of good jokes. I hope people.
Those were great.
You guys, please keep sending those in to us. We love them.
Oh, absolutely. And then I know we maybe talk about this at the end of every episode, but like not only do the reviews help, but share the podcast with a friend. Like tell them about it. I actually got an email from a friend of mine yesterday or maybe the day before. His girlfriend, ours is the only Maker podcast that she likes. And so she listens all the time. And hi, whoever you are, I didn't get your name, but we were talking about you yesterday. And please feel free to say hi. Don't be shy. Share it with others. Like, tell everyone about it. Tell everyone about our terrible dad jokes. Like, spread the word. Don't just keep it to yourself if you like it. Like, tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell somebody that you think might get a chuckle out of it.
Well said. Well said. Hear, hear.
And I know why she likes it. It's because you're on. No, seriously.
I don't know about that.
No, how many other Maker podcasts are there out there that actually have a woman on the panel every week? I don't think there are any.
Not very many. There might be one. I think April Wilkerson might have one.
April's on a podcast, a really good podcast, yeah.
Okay. So they are few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing that attracts people is the fact that we're more lighthearted about things. We talk about serious topics, but we don't get overly serious about them and super technical. We have fun with it, and I think that interests a lot of people.
Yeah.
So anyway, end of the show.
Sure.
Contacts. Where can people find us? Let's see, Bob. They can find you at RJBWoodTurner on YouTube, as well as WhatchaDoinBob.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rebecca. Oh, did you have another one?
No, I was just going to say, don't forget Instagram. RJBWoodTurner on Instagram as well.
Rebecca is RebeccaDeGroot on Facebook. Rebecca_DeGroot on Instagram. RebeccaDeGrootStudios on Etsy. And an as yet to be uploaded YouTube channel of Rebecca's Up to Something.
I will upload something, I swear. I can put that on my to-do list and maybe it'll get done by the end of the week. But now I already forgot that other thing I was planning on doing by the end of the week too. So.
Oh, and there's also RebeccaDeGroot.com.
Yes, RebeccaDeGroot.com is my website that's rarely updated because I'm locked out still.
I bet Your password is 1234.
It's
Don't
probably
tell people.
the password is probably password.
Shh. That's my backup.
Okay, I've done you two. Who remembers mine?
It's like Mike
Lost River Pen.
something.
Yeah.
And Lost River Pen Co.
No.
Wait, is it all Lost River Pens? No Lost River Pen Co's?
That's
or
right.
is it all Lost River Pen Co?
It's all Lost River Pens now.
Lost River Pens on everything.
Except Twitter. I don't Twitter.
Tweet.
Yeah, I'm not a tweeter. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off. Thank you for bearing with us for a long show today. It was a lot of fun, and we will, if you'll excuse my dogs while they bark in the background, we will talk to you next week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.